up, sports fans? We are here back at Crypto.com Arena after a slight little break. We are here to do our thing. Michael Matthew here with the one and only Treacy Trees with the beautiful shirt on. Rakia the year. Y'all know what it is, man. We here to support Rakia. But here, they're back here at Crypto.
Yep.
Well, what's your excitement level for tonight's game?
I'm super excited because it's one of those games where we're playing a really great team and we usually show up in these situations, right? When we have to defeat giants, we usually show up and play at a different kind of pace, play at our own kind of rhythm, and really execute the scouting report. So I'm excited to see what we can do against the Connecticut Sun. That'll let us know what we got cooking in the future.
And I can say that I'm proud of this team because though they are the team with the worst record in the league, looks like they're going to be the potential first pick overall if everything goes right. This team continues to fight. They had some tough losses over the two best rookies in the league with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese with their teams, respectfully. But man, this team continues to fight. And what does that tell you about a young Rakia, that she's there, still has that dog in her to say, I don't care how tough things are going, we have to continue to play hard?
I think it's creating a monster.
Okay.
You know, when you have a breakout season like this and you play really well, but you have so much adversity, it only builds, like pressure builds diamonds. It makes diamonds, man.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what happens when we got a healthy Cam, we got a first round pick, fingers crossed,
Hopefully first overall.
And then we got De'Erica, Azarae, we got Stephanie Talbot, all of these people returning. I think we got a really solid squad. And with Kurt continuing to execute that plan in the offseason and work on some things that went wrong this season, I think we stand a really good chance to be a top team.
Last game we saw something different. Rae Burrell was in the starting lineup, who we were able to give one of these fire tees that she could show some support. What they call themselves? What they call it?
R&R.
R&R, which is really dope. I love it. She's in the starting lineup. What do we expect to see for her tonight with, you know, another game there, but this time against a team that's fighting to win the championship this year?
I expect to see a lot from Rae. I had a chance to talk to her on courtside while she was working out, and I specifically asked her, you know, what does it feel like to be in that starting lineup from a person who's had to work for it? And Rae said it feels really good to have her coaches and her team instill that confidence back in her and know that she's, you know, recognize that she's put in the work and to get some of those benefits, reaping some of those benefits from the hard work.
So it's going to be a hard-fought game. Coach is getting his team ready to go. But don't just hear from us. We had Coach Kurt Miller before the game.
Hi Kurt, welcome back. Just as you close out this stretch here at home, what's the messaging to the team as you guys are building for the future?
You know, we talked against Chicago and was frustrated after the game with some of our discipline and a combination of mistakes that we thought were mental mistakes and lack of focus at times and being locked in. And so, you know, that's our big message tonight, is to have and play with more discipline in terms of what we're trying to accomplish.
Hey, Coach DJ from Infanity TV. Ahead of the game against Connecticut, without giving up too much of the game plan, scouting-wise, what are some things that we must do today in order to get the W?
Yeah, I think some of the intangibles make Connecticut incredibly difficult. Is they have 6 people in double figures. So, you know, Marina is coming off the bench for them, but clearly one of the stars of our league and a tremendous scorer. So they have 6 people who can go score 20 in any night. So they have balance. They do a good job of playing to the player strengths of those 6. But the intangibles for us is they're #1 in the league off of points off of turnovers. So we have to keep our turnovers low. We have not played them poorly either way. We were in that game with a late fourth quarter lead in Boston, but both games we had over 20 turnovers. So that's just, they're so dynamic in transition off of turnovers, you got to keep that low. And then offensive rebounding and second chance points. Second chance points and points off turnovers. So they haven't had to run a play yet, you know, like, and that's almost 40% of their offense. So the intangibles are, can you keep your turnovers low? Can you hold them to one shot and one and done, and make them be efficient in their half court? Now, they are as good a team late in the shot clock. They run as many off-ball screens as anyone in the league. less on-ball screens. So the shot clock is constantly winding down, and they're really talented scoring later in the shot clock, that last 8 seconds. So we've got to be able to sit in the stance and guard for 24 seconds. Because of the way they play, possessions are lower. So it just even highlights even more, you can't waste possessions with turnovers. You can't waste possessions with poor shot selection because there's less possessions in the Connecticut game than some teams that you play.
Hey, Coach. The last meeting in Boston, Lee gave you some really good minutes and made it tough on Bree as well. What did you see on the film, and what's the dialogue been like with Lee in preparation for tonight's matchup?
Yeah, her physicality with Bree Jones was what we needed that night. You know, Breezy's as good a low post finisher, has been all throughout her whole career, you know, collegiately and pro. You know, so you just got to stay in plays, but her physicality was good against her, and we're going to need it again tonight, you know, certainly. And she had a good night in Boston against her. So we look forward to seeing, you know, how she comes out tonight. She's got to stay out of foul trouble. You know, Bree Jones is a real student of the game, so she watched that film also.
Hey, Coach. We know the more heralded players like AT, Dewana, and Brianna, but what makes D Carrington so difficult to match up with?
Mentioning all the people I drafted. So, you know, Dejanay is a terrific athlete and a terrific competitor. You know, she's really taken pride in becoming their stopper, and you know, gets the best guard assignment each game and takes that as a challenge. One of the things coaching Dejanay that's so underrated is she is elite basketball X's and O's wise. That's what that team was so fun to coach. AT is so smart. Bree Jones so smart. Dejanay so smart. They have an excellent team. You know, and I didn't bring up DB. So they have an excellent team in the knowledge of the game, and they really understand the game and see things developing at both ends of the court before they happen. But that's a real strength for Dejanay. Her athleticism, competitiveness make her special. And then she's a downhill player, and you have to be ready for that downhill activity by Dejanay.
Coach, obviously a lot is inside your locker room, right? But this is a team that's lost the last two really tough ones and kind of down on themselves right now. What do you have to guard against tonight, going up against a team like this that's very veteran, championship aspirations obviously, but they're in a kind of a weird place?
Yeah, I think, you know, the interesting aspect of our team is we've played good enough basketball to be in games and around games. We haven't always been able to finish games. You know, Chicago games, it was those middle quarters, right? It was Chicago scored 56 points against us in those two middle quarters, and that's what I think you're seeing by a team that's accumulated losses and is finding, you know, their identity in this build. Is that sometimes with a youthful team finding their identity, have had some losses, is that runs, you know, instead of being a 4-0 run, a 6-0 run turn into 12-0 runs. And that's what I'm trying to get them to guard from. In that third quarter, you know, again, it was still very much a game, but in the third quarter against Chicago, we did not get a stop for the first 6 minutes of the quarter. We know in that big comeback by Dallas on the road, in the fourth quarter, we got one stop that whole quarter. And so we're seeing the snowball effect of not being able to stop runs. And I think that is a product of a young team, is a product of, you know, instead of stepping up in the moment, you get a little bit of feeling of here it goes again. And we need some leadership. We need some competitiveness, fire from the people on the floor to get stops. So what I'm concerned about tonight is Connecticut can really lock you down. And because they can lock you down and go 2, 3, 4 possessions in a row without a basket being scored against them, they in turn turn around and have runs against people. We've got to be able to stop runs tonight so those runs don't turn into big runs that are game changing. And that's a challenge because of this build and a youthful team and a team that's had some accumulated some losses throughout the year that they can't have that attitude of here it comes again.
Coach, Rakia, in July, I believe she got the shoe deal from Skechers as a first in this league, and so do you talk about those things when you're traveling, or like what do you think we need more to get this kind of deal for other players?
Yeah, super excited about that for Rakia. New Balance for Cam. We have some Jumpman. We have some Nike people also. So it's nice, and why I might have a one-off conversation with them to congratulate them. Really supportive, and that comes from the top of our organization of these players building their own brand, and their agents finding them also deals that are away from basketball, and it's just the growth of women's basketball that companies want to be represented by these strong, powerful, educated, smart, and intelligent women who are more than just basketball players, and that they can help sell their products. And so excited for Rakia, knew behind the scenes that there was a work in progress, but truly exciting for her. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we are back. We just heard from Coach. He's fired up. He gets to go against his former team.
Yep.
It's always a great matchup for him. But he understands what's going through right now. He's going through a tough time.
Yep.
The team isn't winning as much as expected. Players are hurt, sicknesses, all of these things. But he continues to coach these ladies up. Just to give him some kudos. We're showing love to Rakia with the team. We might need a Coach Kurt Miller t-shirt because he is having these ladies continue to fight. And just how impressive has that been to you, DJ?
It's super impressive, and I think it's going to continue into tonight because he drafted 4 of the star players on the Connecticut Sun.
Yes.
So we're at a little bit of an advantage because he knows what kind of players they are. He knows their advantages and what things that we can exploit to get some easy baskets, because it's going to be a tough, aggressive game playing against like an Alyssa Thomas and DeWanna Bonner.
And the Sparks are tricky. Most of their wins are over the best teams in the league. They beat the Aces twice. They knock off the Liberty. Now you have a chance tonight to make up a big-time upset. The Emmys are going on the outside, so anything can happen, and I'm excited for tonight. So before we leave, you guys, we got to do it. Who is that player for you tonight that you think is going to stand out and ball out?
I got Rakia on my shirt. I'm going with Rakia of the year, man. I think she's going to show out tonight for those same reasons that we talked about.
Yeah.
Every time we go up against teams who are talented, who have success in winning, she always has those double-digit games. Maybe a double-double tonight. I don't know. Maybe too early for that.
Rakia's going to ball out because that's just what she do. But I'm also show love to Rae. I think her second game in the starting lineup, she's going to be ready to go. Like I always say on the show, the prototypical 3-and-D player here in the WNBA, and I'm excited to see what happens. So Sparks fans, can there be another upset? We've seen it already, and I hope that we see one again here tonight. We'll see you guys after the game.
What's going on, LA Sparks Weekly? You already know me as DJ Treacy Trees, and I'm here with Rae Burrell. Rae, after your first start last game in the starting lineup, how does it feel to have your confidence boosted by your team and your coaching staff?
Yeah, I mean, it feels great. They came to me, they said that I've been working hard and I earned it, so, it's just good to feel that, and the support from them is just everything, so it was a great feeling.
Thank you. And moving forward in the season, what are a couple things that you're personally working on? We are a playoff contention, but that doesn't mean that we can't finish strong. What are some things that you're personally working on?
Yeah, just working on slippage. We have our coverages, and so just making sure I'm focused on it and making sure I'm where I need to be, and then just staying aggressive and staying consistent throughout the rest of the season, and knocking down shots when I'm open, and just being an energy for the team.
And this episode, we're specifically focusing on showing some love to Rakia with the Rakia of the Year episode. That's right. Can you just give her some encouragement, speak directly to the camera, and just give a message out to Rakia?
Yeah, I mean, Rakia, you've just been doing so great. We're all so proud of you. I know I'm proud of you. you come in and you do your work and you get out, and that's all the coach and your teammates can ask for. Just keep doing you, keep being confident, and keep killing it, girl, because you're killing it.
All right, you heard it here first on this special episode of LA Sparks Weekly. Rae, have a great game.
Thank you.
What's going on, LA Sparks Weekly? You already know me as DJ Treasy.
Hold on, get into the shirt.
Yes! And I quote Rakia said we ate, y'all. We don't need a whole bunch of tallies to come in. You are our vote for Rookie of the Year. We want to give you your flowers right now. So really quick, before you get back there, what was your favorite moment of your rookie year?
My favorite was probably just playing against like Las Vegas Aces for the first time ever, because I grew up watching them play, and I look up to a lot of those players. So just being on the floor with them, and the game was like close to the first game, and then like the next time we beat them. So I feel like that was like my most memorable moment, because I was just like, this is so real. Like I literally like grew up watching them play, and I'm like playing on the same court as them right now.
That's dope. That's dope. And before we go, check out the shoes. Get into the shoes real quick. Can you tell us a little bit about these? Did you design them? This your first edition?
No, I didn't design these. My player rep, like she did it all, and she was just like, I got a shoe for you, and I was like, let's see him. But she did her thing. It says like Miss Jackson on the gold part, and just LA Spark vibes. But yeah, her name's Kari. She ate.
Yeah. All right, LA Sparks Weekly fans, you here with Rakia Jackson. Have a great game, girl. No shoes are fly.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, LA Sparks fans, we are here with LA Sparks Weekly. I am Michael Matthew with the one and only
DJ Treasy Trees, y'all. What's up?
Hey, and we are here to talk about tonight's game where it literally came to the fourth quarter. It looked like the Sparks might steal a win, and it just all vanished within 90 seconds. Yep. It went from a 2-point game for the Sparks winning to them losing by 12 points. So it was a very, very tough game. Another fourth quarter collapse for the Sparks. What's your thoughts? And it's getting rowdy over here.
I don't know who over there.
That's Connecticut going crazy. But they rowdy for a reason. They got this dub. What's your thoughts about tonight's game?
Hey, tonight's game needed to be 2 minutes shorter, y'all. 2 minutes shorter. If we could have cut the game time, we would have had it. It's prototypical of what we've been seeing in the past since the Olympic break, right? Yep. The problem is we play 3 quarters and we don't play 4 quarters. That fourth quarter, we only scored 9 points, allowed the defense to slip, and mathematics did the rest of it, y'all. We won. I'm sorry, we lost by this much. I was ready for us to win.
And 20 turnovers, you know what I feel about that. When they turn over the ball 20 times, they're going to find a way to lose. They did exactly that. But we did have a bright spot. Yep. We saw some players step up. Lee got some solid minutes against Bree Jones, which was big for her. And
she played physical.
Yeah. She played good basketball. Of course, Rakia, who I'm pretty sure we're going to talk about more later on, did her thing. But just this is a great matchup for them because they get to learn from a team that Kurt Miller helped build from the ashes to become something of what they are today. What are the biggest things you think the Sparks can learn from a team like the Sun, who they're also going to see on Tuesday?
I think that Sparks can learn to play it through. You know, the Connecticut could have gave up. They could have lost steam, but they really worked hard every single moment of the game and making sure that you're playing defense and offense, doing the right things on both sides of the court, and then knocking down those free throws, getting deflections, steals, all of the things. Just really learning how to apply pressure in the fourth quarter will help us to close.
Yeah, and you know, just, man, a weird game because it's another game where you like, this team belongs, and they're playing some solid basketball, but then they find a way to fall apart. De'Erica Hamby, she did some solid things, didn't get as many shot attempts up, but 10 points, 7 rebounds. She put together a solid performance, but it wasn't enough. But don't just listen to us talk about it. We got Rakia, we got De'Erica, we got Coach Kurt Miller to talk in the post press conference.
You guys know I've been here, been talking about the same thing, but for 30 plus minutes tonight, just really did a ton of things that we wanted to try to accomplish defensively and offensively against a championship contender, and was really proud. And that fourth quarter, struggled to score, which at times affects our offense. Or affects our defense, but we talked for the people that were here pregame, 40% or nearly 40% of points for Connecticut come off of either offensive rebounds or off turnovers, and they jump-started their fourth quarter with 6 quick points off of offensive rebounds, and then sprinkled in throughout the quarter some breakaway layups off of turnovers, and so all of a sudden they have their best quarter, 24 points. Our goal tonight was 75 or under. I thought if we kept it to 75 or under, we had a chance to beat them, and we were on track to do that. Rakia really led us offensively, had a phenomenal game and hunting, and our players were really hunting for their shot. Tough to get post players looks tonight with the way they defended us. It was going to be more of a guard shooting night. Rakia was one of those recipients and played really well, and that's against a lot of attention and a real pro in DeWanna Bonner guarding her a lot of the night. So again, doesn't feel good to not be able to find ways to the finish line, but again, I thought we outplayed that team for over 30 minutes, but we have to have a better close.
Rakia, it's 2 questions for you. Just what were you able to learn today playing against, Bonner there, who's a veteran in this league, playing for a team competing to win a championship? And how do you turn those fast starts in the first half to where you end up with, mid-20s to even bigger second half to where you can possibly make those games 30-point games?
DeWanna is one of my favorite players. I look up to her. I've, watched her growing up, just being a tall player, but she's a guard, and her just being versatile. So that's just something I always looked up to. I always, she's always encouraging me, texting me, and it just means a lot. So to go up against her today was pretty cool. And I know she talks, so I'm going to talk too. So it is pretty fun to, go against one of my favorite players in the league. The second question. I just continue to, trust in my teammates, and I feel like they find me. They were getting me the ball in my spots, and, just credit to them. I feel like I was being more aggressive as well. I know Connecticut isn't going to just let me do what I want, so I know I had to, hit them first, go at them first. But we just got to put together 4 quarters.
Hey, De'Erica, this one's for you. I know you said you don't really do the halftime speeches, but there's a lot of learning that happens in the game. How are you helping the younger players learn in the game? And for you personally, how are you making sure that you stay locked in and can play all 4 quarters?
Just talking about the little things. Didn't do that in the fourth quarter, and I think I got in my head a little bit, just with frustration, and I have to be a better leader in that and not allowing that to dictate, being able to continue to be vocal. So.
Ricky, you played 40 minutes today, and I think last game was 37. How do you keep your fuel up? How do you stay consistent throughout the whole game?
I feel like our nutritionists, our trainers, Chelsea, Riz, Tay, everybody, they're just hands-on with me. Coach Kurt is always talking about the food that I eat, so I try to,
Tell them what you have for breakfast.
Let's not talk about her diet. Right?
Oh, no. Tell them.
No. Chicken and waffles.
Okay, I used to eat like that too.
But it's getting better, I feel like. Sometimes I get a little salad or a little sub or something. But I feel like, just fueling properly and them just being there for me. Even our sports psych, mentally, just going through ups and downs and stuff. It could be hard, especially being a rookie. So I feel like everyone around just helps me. They're always there for me. They always keep my spirits high and things like that. The coaching staff, my teammates. So it's just, it takes a village, and I feel like they just really have just been helping me.
Hey, DJ from Infanity TV. Question for either of you. How was it battling Rae Carrington today with her having 5 steals? How was she throwing off the mix today?
Just a card.
I don't know. She got that one still on me, but that was on me because I should have did something else. It's nothing we never seen before, honestly. She hit me in my lip really bad. It's still bleeding. But she's a great defender. She's an elite defender. She's pesky. She plays hard. She plays like she's 6'5". She play like she's tall for real. But I respect her game a lot. She go hard on both ends of the court, and she just got that dog in her.
Okay, just to piggyback off your answer earlier about Bonner and Alyssa Thomas. I saw you guys jawing back and forth. Can you elaborate on how was that? How fun was that?
No, that was a funny moment. I'm pretty sure people on Twitter are probably taking this serious, but Dewana, that's my girl. But basically, I'm not gonna lie, she did not foul me on one of the plays that they called a foul on. But then I didn't foul her either, but they called it, and I was like, I did not touch her. And then she was like, I ain't touch you down there either. And I whispered, and I said, you sure didn't. And then she tried to snitch on me to the ref. And then I told the ref, I was like, nah, I didn't touch her. And she touched me. Of course I'm going to lie. Come on. No, that was pretty amazing, again, to have that moment with my favorite player. It was just surreal. I literally look up to her growing up. So just to see that is just...
That's a fine.
Wait, for real? I already got 5. That was an amazing moment. I'm gonna remember it forever.
Rakia, Coach Miller's praised your defensive progress over this season. You had 3 steals today, which I think was a career high. Just what are some things you're seeing now that are maybe different from earlier in the season?
Defense keeps you on the floor. I feel like, he's been harping on me. I remember, I think it was our first game. After our first game, Coach Curtis came up to me. He was just like, I'm going to make you a good defensive player. And I took that to heart. And he just told me, as long as you give effort on the defensive end, I can keep you out there longer and longer stretches and things like that. I can't be a liability on defense. And I didn't want to be that. I didn't want to be the weak link. I didn't want to be the rookie that, every team just goes at because they can. So I really took it personal, and all the little things that my coaches watch film with me, I try to learn. Camille was a great defensive player. So she tells me, the angles to go at. Nola watches film with me. So she just telling me, flow. He's yelling in my ear, flow, a million times. So, you just want to do it.
Last question,
For Rakia, Coach mentioned this week that, you've started to become the focus of opposing teams' scouting reports. Just kind of, you went against two defenders tonight, Dewana and Dejanay, who are among tops in this league. Just what have you been seeing differently in terms of how teams are guarding you, and what kind of adjustments have you made from the beginning to season to now?
Yeah, I feel like they're physical, as they should be. No one wants to get beat by a rookie. No one wants to. I would take it personal as well. So I've definitely been seeing that a lot. One thing about me, I don't try to force a lot on the offensive end. Even sometimes where I need to be more aggressive, sometimes I'm like, let me, you know, move it just to get the offense and flowing. Then next thing you know, the game is over. So I just learned this game, like, you know, be aggressive for both halves. You know, sometimes I just have a aggressive first half, and then the second half, like, I don't be as aggressive, trying to, you know, get the offense and stuff moving. But I feel like I'm just learning to just continue to keep my foot on the gas pedal, be aggressive. You know, my teammates space the floor for me as well, and I try to open up the floor for them when the attention is at me to, you know, get my teammates open looks and things like that. So it's just, again, the learning curve. You know, I'm up for the challenge. I wouldn't want it any other way, so I feel like it's just going to make me a better player at the end of the day.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you. Thank you. Hi, Amaya.
Hi.
No.
No.
Who's best dressed?
Huh?
Who's best dressed? Besides your mom.
What do you mean?
Best dressed. Who be dressing the best? All right.
Is it hurt?
Rakia.
Yeah.
She told me to everybody.
So, Coach, you know, with a lot of those players on the Sun, players that, you know, you coach and saw them young and, you know, become veteran players like they are today, just seeing your team, what are some things that you think that they was able to learn from matching up with these players who, you know, you've seen for so long?
Yeah, for their starters, you know, I had the opportunity and fortunate to be able to coach for those years in Connecticut, drafted both Bree and Dejanay. You know, they're just a really, really talented group. What makes them special is they're really smart, X's and O's wise. You know, Dewana AT, Bree Jones, and Dejanay are really, really smart, X's and O's wise. I have a long relationship with Ty Harris, recruited her when I was in collegiate level and became very close to the family. So that starting lineup I have connection with. But, you know, as you said, Breezy, it took a while, and then all of a sudden she became most improved player and now a multiple-time All-Star. It didn't happen immediately. Dejanay, you know, had to find her footing in the league, and now you're seeing her in contention. Also, you know, I think, to me, there's a lot of deserving candidates, but you know, I think De'Erica really, really deserves the Player of the Year, or the Most Improved Player of the Year. But Dejanay, with her defensive ability this year and her downhill offense, will be in contention for that. So, you know, it takes a while. So, just really pleased with where Rakia is at, and she's just such a willing learner. She is prideful of where she is right now, but knows there's more growth. And I love coaching players. You know, Breezy was like that, and Dejanay was like that. They wanted to get better. They were, you know, confident in what their skill sets were, but they wanted to get better. And I see a lot of that in Rakia. And again, our young players, you know, Rae, second game in a starting lineup, she's just going to continue to get better and better. So, you know, there's Lee's only 25, had a good game tonight. Lee matches up with Bree Jones a little bit better, and we needed her physicality and toughness around Bree Jones tonight. So, again, you know, a lot of good things, but, you know, there's no moral victories in this league.
Hey, Coach, kind of want to piggyback on something Rakia said, where she's like, you know, we need sometimes people to step in and talk to us emotionally. Obviously, when you get a kind of losing streak, especially when you're playing so hard, and then you have to go back out there and do it again. Have you been able to really kind of help them through that emotionally and mentally, that, yes, this is a growing phase, and help them see what the future could look like?
Yeah, and again, it's, you know, you try to push buttons as a coach different ways. Sometimes I'm harder and more intense. Other times, you know, it's just teaching. You know, then you ask them to, you know, talk at times. And, you know, Kia Nurse is a real leader for us in the locker room, with or without being in the starting lineup. And, you know, she talked to me after the game already on, you know, things that as a leader she could have even done more with that group. Again, this team wants to win so badly, but we've got to handle hard in fourth quarters. We've got to handle You know, you knew that team was going to turn it up and find another level. They're too talented, and were we going to be able to respond? And we just couldn't, and then we let some of our offensive inefficiency in that fourth quarter affect our defense, and we can't let that. But again, the biggest disappointment for me was jump-starting that fourth quarter for them, getting offensive rebounds.
Coach, you talked about your struggles in the paint today. You guys play them again on Tuesday. How do you adjust going into the next game against their real good defense and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, they really congest the paint. You know, we shot 50% from the arc, but probably needed to take more. They really did a nice job taking away our post players. So the points in the paint is crazy discrepancy, right? It jumps off the stat sheet for their points in the paint compared to ours. So, you know, we'll take a look at the film and show where we can find some success. But even if we get the ball to the paint, then we can play out. We had trouble getting the ball to the paint. So we'll make some adjustments. This, for us, you know, I know that Connecticut is in the playoffs, but with us not in the playoffs, we're treating this back-to-back like a playoff series. It's an opportunity for us to treat it that way, prepare that way, make adjustments on the short turnaround. And so for us, to me, I'm preaching this is as good an opportunity late in the season to prepare for playoff games as we have, playing them back to back. And then we're going to get the same with Seattle. So this is our playoff stretch, and you know, I'm excited to get in there and make adjustments with them and practice like this would be our playoffs.
Coach, you guys did a really good job in the first half of getting to the free throw line. I think you guys were 12 for 14 in the first half. But the second half, you guys only shot about 6 free throws the rest of the way. What kind of changed down the stretch for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I thought they made the adjustment. I thought that had to be a topic of conversation for them at halftime, that we were getting to the foul line. But we were aggressive. We were getting through the paint. We were aggressive off the bounce. We were getting post-ups and playing out of it aggressively. You know, again, it's going to even out a little bit, but we've got to continue to put pressure on them and try to get to the foul line with how aggressive they play defense, how aggressive they go after shot blocks, even their guards. And some of their best shot blockers are Dejanay and Dewana at the wings.
Hey Kurt, you talked about the X's and O's, and it seemed like in the fourth quarter, the Sun really went to their double drags at the top with Mabry as the ball screen, and she was able to really extend the traps and create a lot of 4-on-3s. Can you kind of just talk about that defensive execution in the fourth quarter and kind of what went wrong there?
Yeah, you know, I thought we did a pretty good job of getting the ball out of Marina's hands tonight. Tried to make her inefficient, 2 for 7 from the arc. So we gave her attention in some ball screens. The coverage that you're talking about was not a trap. That's not an action that we were trapping. And again, we have some slippage in what we're trying to do, execute defensively. We did some good things against Marina, and I thought there was a lot of good chess matches behind the scenes. They knew how we guarded one of their plays last time, and the first time they ran it, they executed because they knew what kind of coverage we played in Boston. And, you know, those are the kind of things that I just love, because I wanted to look down at Steph going, you got me. You know, and then we got some things like that tonight against them. So there was more chess match than you ever realize that are going on. And, you know, I can look at myself and go, yeah, Steph got me on that. And then, you know, we got them. So, you know, some of that we'll take a look at again and get back to work. And again, we're going to treat it like our playoff game and prepare and step back up and play against a really talented team that's, you know, fighting for that number 2 seed.
Thanks, Kurt.
Thank you.
We are back. We just heard from Coach Miller.
Yep.
We heard from De'Erica. We heard from Rakia.
Yep.
I love to hear Rakia talk about her connection with Dewana Bonner.
Yeah.
Her saying, hey, that's one of my favorite players, a linky athlete like she is, that she was able to chirp back and forth with. Just makes the game so much fun, and you get to learn, because when you see somebody feisty and scrappy like that, hey, Rakia's like, this is somebody I can learn from. And to play them is a big-time thing. What was your thoughts about that matchup?
Listen, we already got this special episode because Rakia is our what? Rakia the year, man. Listen, she has been doing her thing since the Olympic break, and even before that. Ever since she made it to the starting lineup, she's made it a point to become better and better on those building blocks. So it makes our future look so much brighter here in LA. Yeah. It makes you feel like Leah's gonna step up. Rakia's gonna be there. De'Erica, like you said, is doing those solid things and being a leader. Even Coach talked a little bit about Kia Nurse in the locker room being a leader. Right. So you've got all of these things that are happening, and again, sometimes things fall apart to fall together, and that's what we're hoping with the Sparks here this season.
And Coach talked about it like, hey, when I was with the Sun, some of these players didn't look like what they look like today. They had to go
Last year they did.
Yeah, they had to go through some things. D Carrington, what she had to go through, and just seeing that he was able to build that team. He's like, I got some young players. He mentioned Rae Burrell as one of them. Then we see what Rakia is doing on a tear, getting better every game, and showing that, hey, I can be somebody that can be counted on to be a true pillar for this team going forward. I can't wait to see, her continue to grow her game, hopefully adding some playmaking to her ability to score. And I even asked her, hey, how can you turn these 20-point games into 30-point or more games? And she said, keeping it going, staying aggressive when it comes to the second half. And hopefully we see that as the season is winding down. This is the perfect time to learn for young players like Lee, like Rae, like Rakia, like Zaya, if she gets the opportunity. So it's a tough loss, but we know that they're building towards the future. So fans, stick with them. They are building towards the future, and it's going to take day by day. So before we get out of here, and be ready for that matchup on Tuesday back in this building against the same Connecticut Sun. Player of the game, who you got, DJ?
Hey, I'm going to stay 10 toes down. Before the game, I said Rakia Jackson. After the game, I like to point out that I was right. We love it when we right. But Rakia Jackson on the T-shirt, stamped his game, 23 points. What do you ask more for a player?
It has to be Rakia because the shirts are beautiful. She is playing beautiful basketball, especially when she's locked in and engaged, where she's not only scoring, but doing some great things defensively. Deflection, staying in front of her player, blocking shots, and doing all of these things, looking like not only a great offensive player, but a player that can do things on both sides of the floor. So, hey, Sparks fans, keep the hope alive. This is just the beginning. Next year, I think, is when you're really going to see a big difference. But the season's not done. They got more work to do, more games to improve and get better. Michael Matthew, DJ Treese, LA Sparks Weekly. We see you Tuesday night, baby.